Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Wednesday, April 22nd. And market is holding up pretty freaking good. Pretty good. I have a new graphics card in this machine right now. Popped that in yesterday, and hopefully it should be a little bit better. I'm hoping this lag I get on the drawing it may dissipate. We'll see how much performance I get out of this thing. But right now, market's holding up pretty darn good. Looking past the issues, we are in earnings season. I believe Tesla reports earnings after they close, and we'll see if the reaction to the Tesla earnings is going to be positive or negative. Now, these guys are in a big transition, by the way. Tesla, they're going towards robotics, robotaxis, and all that stuff. It's not so much cars anymore. And if you're not aware of that, be aware of that, because that's where the future is going to be lying. And that's what they're going to be judged on. So we'll see how that comes out. But if we are in the middle of earnings season, people are looking past the Iranian situation right now. Yeah, going back and forth over there, but I don't think that's going to be. And even if it goes back to kinetic operations, I don't think that's going to be a big reaction in the market any longer. Looking past the whole thing. So we are in price discovery. So far, we stalled a little bit above it at 71.50s. We just need to, if we can get a resolution, it is finally done. I think the market takes off again. It can probably going to be staying here, grinding back and forth, going like a step forward, a couple of steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps, kind of thing, but it's net grinding to the upside. That's what I'm expecting. And then we'll see how this whole thing shakes out. But right now, looking at the ES, definitely I would start off range bound, and I would lean towards the long side. Now the news we have this morning, we got the mortgage apps. They were to the upside, actually, a little bit to the upside, net positive across the board, and double digits on the purchase index. We have an oil report. We have all business inflation expectations at 10 from Atlanta, oil report at 10:30, and a 20-year auction at 1. So not much news to drive the market at all. This whole week is going to be light on news. So earnings is going to be driving the train, I guess. And I would just stay on the long side of this. Just coming out of a few months of some crazy rotations back and forth. It kind of some of that stuff didn't quite make sense, but they a rotation nonetheless, right? So we'll see if the AI trade comes back in focus, especially now when every now and then you hear a new model coming out, and this agentic AI, these agents, they are going to be getting better and better. That's for sure. So we're going to have one at home, right? On my robot body. Anyway, so looking at this, staying on the long side, staying range bound with a bias to the upside, is probably the way to say it. Looking to buy against the 7130s, 7120s. If they get down to the 7100, 7085, 7075, these three support areas, I would be a little bit less aggressive on the long side. I would still look to buy against these, but they start taking those out, I would be probably start looking for a retracement trade at that point. I think we have a couple of days now when they run down here to the 7085s installed, but I would give it all these three levels. I would still look to buy against them at 7100, 7085, and 7075 for rotations up. It's just if they all come out, that's when you have to kind of worry about the long side of the market, the short side of the market. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. Now, given that we had a retest, I think it was an overnight retest. It never got up there in the day session, but nonetheless, a retest of 7180, a failure. They knocked it all the way down. We are on our way back, so this could be a third test to the level. But I would look for short setups all the way up here. And as I said, we're starting off range bound, but we favor in the long side. Doesn't mean you can't take short trades, right? So 7145, 7160s. 7170s, 7185s, rotations down. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it right now. So initially favoring the long side, but the short opportunities again, the 7145s, the 60s, 70s up to that 80 level. rotations down. Now, if they start clearing that 71.70s, I would be probably a little bit more inclined to think they could potentially make it go out of it. But anytime they run up here and start extending into price discovery territory, you're going to have someone trying to knock it down. So it's going to be a little bit of grinding here before they blow out this edge, I would think. And the only thing which really does it easily is going to be piece of news. So if you do hear something about the situation and everything is resolved, done deal, I think that's kind of an event which takes it higher. Not sure we have news this week which is going to make bust through this upper level, but it could be. It could be like a Tesla earnings report and some forward guidance, stuff like that, which could potentially knock at least NASDAQ higher, and that would probably drag the ES with it at that point. So that's how we get started. So range bound trading, looking to buy weakness, 71.30, 71.20, the 71, 70, 85, and 75 are the lower support areas to pay attention to. I would look for longs against those, but if they come out, I would be a little bit more aggressive on the short side, thinking retracement trade at that point. All right, so that's how we get started. Let's see how this goes. All right, so here we have NASDAQ. NASDAQ's capital flow, also in price discovery, and they popped higher, stalled. They've been back and forth. On the NASDAQ, we have a couple of levels here, the 26,600s, the 550, and the 500s. These three support areas, those are the ones to pay attention to on the way down. You see these are the levels right there in the little low volume area. So in this low volume area, if that comes out, start looking for that retracement trade, the same as the ES. But that's the same story there. Starting range bound, slight bias to the upside. NASDAQ has been almost kind of knocking on the door to take this higher. So they are almost up here again at the 890, 900s. So 26,900, if that can come out, that would be a pretty strong move on the NASDAQ. If you start extending past that, that could certainly start dragging the ES with it. So, but I would start from the range bound. I would favor the long side. So if we see some weakness, I would look to buy against that the 800s, the 26,740s, the 680. What is that? 670s, 620, 610, and 550s. So here you start heading down there. So it just retrace. Yeah, so it snap back on me there. So looking to buy against in the 26,800s, the 720s, the 660s, 600s, 650s, 500s here for rotations up, and these three support areas on the way down I want to pay attention to for a potential change in direction. So probably if they challenge the 610s, I would not be super aggressive on the short side. If they start taking out the 550s and 500s, yeah, maybe start thinking about it. But either of them could potentially hold. So I would not be just leaning in on the short side into the support area. I would just kind of wait for them to take it out. But depending on how it goes and how they trade through it, if it's just flat out falling apart and you're doing an elevator down kind of a move, yeah, by all means, be more aggressive on the short side. But if it's just trading lower, and I would be looking to buy against these lower support areas. And on the way up, looking for shorts against I was going to say 860, but we just took it out. So we're up here against the 900s. Look at that. It looks like we're going to be making new highs here before I even stop talking. There we go. I like that. Okay, so we are up here against the 900. Potential retest failure setting up. This would be 1, 2, third time to the level. So actually almost fourth time. So 1, 2, 3 if you count the overnight here from yesterday. So this is not overnight here. So we are definitely knocking on the door to potentially take this higher. So nice little move to the upside on the NASDAQ. Looking at the bonds real quick. The bond market in a range, same as before. Maybe we're going to get a shot at taking this higher now. We've been holding on to that 114 pretty good. So same story today. Looking to sell strength, buy weakness, range bound trading. it's just drifting up and down based on the news, but not necessarily moving directionally. It feels sometimes it does that during the day, but in the bigger picture, it's just kind of drifting back and forth. So looking to buy against the 1408, the 1402, the 1328. Looking to sell strength against the 1416, 22, up to the 28s for rotations back down. So for short setups against the 16s, where we are trading right now, a nice little potential setup there. We'll see if that materializes to something. So 16, 20, 28. We're going to buy against the 08s, 14 even, 1402, 1328 for rotations back up again. Pretty straightforward stuff on that one. See how it goes. Now this one here is the setup, as I keep saying on the bonds. It's too early to take those setups, but they run out of gas at the level that stall a few bars like this. It had to kind of be in the day session from 8:20 Eastern forward before you start looking at those kind of setups. You can certainly take those trades in overnight. You have to be mindful that they show up a lot more, even if they're not really a good setup. So this rotation down here was interesting. I mean, when you have the move like this and run it down here to the 1401s, that little rotation down, they run it into support, stall. That would be more of a setup you want to take. When it's run up right now, they're not quite at they're at resistance, but borderline. So it looks like they can certainly take it up to the 20s. So I would give it a little bit more room on this one here. But they are resistant, so potential setup here. I would just be a little bit less aggressive and getting short against it. Especially out of the gate, because then you know the bonds. The bonds can start to move. They move. Most of this stuff happens early on the bonds. And so you don't want to be super aggressive, just stepping in front of a nice trend like this. That would be a little bit aggressive, right? Right, back to, well, so let's take a quick look at the cryptos. And the crypto is a little bit misleading because it's really, I have three contracts here. I have silver on the top, gold, and then oil on the three left screens. And I have Bitcoin and Ethereum on the right side there. So, I mean, the right side is your Bitcoin crypto derivatives. And the other ones are actually just the metals. They're smaller contracts, cheaper to trade, but definitely contracts worth paying attention to. So, so that's why we have it. That's why I have them there. So, but we'll leave it there for now. So nothing much going on those. Oil is up at around $90, trading around 90. We'll see where that's going to go. But that's the one I'm watching for moves. It's going to move pretty good on oil. And I can't trade the micro oil. Even that one is moving pretty darn good, you know. So, and when oil moves, you really have to be on top of it. So, yeah, I'm just trading the crypto oil instead. We'll see how that goes. All right, so back to the ES and the NASDAQ. And we'll see a nice little rally up here. NASDAQ is stalling out here right at the resistance. But we'll leave it there for now. So we'll see if they can bust through it or not. But potential retest failure setting up there. We'll see how it goes. Alrighty, guys, we'll wrap it there. I'll see you back at 11:30 for the next update. So good trading. I'll see you back then.